Hey everyone, welcome to Marvel's How to Draw. I'm Sean Isabella and today I'm drawing Black Widow in her mech suit. Black Widow's mech suit has some really intricate details, but let's keep things simple. Let's start with some simple shapes and block out the whole suit. You gotta start kind of really light to make sure you got enough space on the paper, her waist, and then get into the legs because sometimes we run out of paper, so you want to make sure you're getting the whole body to start. I draw a line from the shoulder right down to the heel, and then I draw a line right from that heel to the next heel. So the character looks like she's standing really strong here. They're defending the earth, so they gotta look really heroic and powerful. The key thing here is to really keep everything light and go very fast and kind of cover the whole body. It's always good to kind of take a step back and kind of looking at the whole drawing at once to make sure it's kind of looking how you want it to, because this is a lot of fun. You want to make sure you're having fun and make sure the character's looking really strong and heroic. And one of the key things here too to always remember is you want to start with very simple shapes. So if you noticed here in the arm, I'm starting with 2 circles. So I do a circle here, and then all I do is really connect those circles. We have 2 boxes here for the fist shape. The nice thing with starting with pencil here, and I like to use a mechanical pencil, is you can always erase and then kind of go back and redraw that area. I also like to draw with pens and markers. They're always fun. It's always so important to kind of test new materials when you're drawing these characters, because you got to remember you're drawing Marvel superheroes. So this is a fun thing to do, and you always want to keep exploring and trying new things and really test yourself. If you notice, I started with kind of a bigger box for her stomach area, and now I'm just kind of breaking that down to 2 or 3 smaller boxes for the armor plates here. Even if you're doing this for a long time, like myself, you're always making mistakes, and that's part of the fun. Every mistake you learn something new. Find these little circles on her utility belt. She's got that awesome classic Black Widow logo. These really cool pieces of leg armor that kind of cover part of the belt. As I start drawing more of the character, you can kind of see how those areas start to really shape up. So that's something I used to do a lot, and the more practice I did, the more I kind of made sure to kind of step back and really look at the whole drawing as one single character and make sure that it all looks the same. It looks really good. All right, so really cool. I like this design here. You can see the hints of the logo here on the leg armor pieces. So that's a really fun way that you can tell this is Black Widow, and that's kind of great things about some of these characters. They have these really great details that you can recognize that make them very unique and special to that character. So this character is a Black Widow in her mech suit. So the nice thing with this mech suit is it's kind of got these really fun armor pieces that she's armoring up to defend Earth from some mysterious bad guys that who knows it could be this time. I love the armor pieces. It's kind of really fun aesthetic and look for the characters. She's got this really cool collar armor neck plate. Kind of protect the optic area. We'll call it the optic area, kind of the head of the mech suit, the main shape of the head. So kind of started with kind of egg-shaped. The next thing I do is I find the eye line. So starting at basically the top of metallic shapes over her ears, and then you draw a curved line to find the eyes. Have the character looking off, getting ready for battle, getting ready to defend her and the other Avengers. I love this design element here. You got this piece that comes right over the eyes. These little plates of armor here. It's really cool look. I really love that on this character. She's got this, that logo we talked about before. Here, she's got it right on the center of her chest. Make some of your lines darker to make the depth. So on the inside part of here, I'm gonna make this darker. So it gives it some depth. All right. Nice little Easter egg here is there's that logo shape again. It's really, really cool and fun to kind of have these different shapes for the characters, and you kind of repeat them. It's a really great way for the armor, the mech suit, to feel unique to that character. So having a couple of those logos on the shoulders and on the torso, the utility belt, just kind of makes it feel very special and unique to Black Widow. That way, it's like this really looks like her armor. Do a big circle for the fist, find four lines for the different fingers, and then the thumb. This mech suit's really got a strong, powerful punch, so you add an extra layer to the top of that. One of the things I really like about this design is Black Widow's stinger missiles, her arm bandoliers. One of the really cool things about Black Widow is she's got all this really cool tech that helps her in hand-to-hand combat. So what better way to level up that power by building a mech suit for her? And then just when you feel really good that they're looking where they're supposed to look, you can take your pencil and do what you call a crosshatch. So it's just moving the pencil in one direction. And you can see that fist starts to be separated from the arm. So that's a really easy, quick way to separate pieces of the body. I'll go back to the upper arm. The really cool thing about these mech suits is there's a lot of layers to the armor. So it's really fun to draw. She's got these different details here. They look like hoses. They probably have some energy going through them. And then really all you're doing when you're adding these details, make two dots on opposite ends, and you just connect them. One of the things I love about drawing mech suits is there's so many little details. There's little rivets and pieces of armor all over the character. You can add all your little details and kind of have fun. Again, for the forearm, just those two circles, and then connect them. And then she's going to have this joint that connects her forearm to her bicep. So I'm actually going to draw that in. You're probably not going to see it, but that way you kind of know it's there and that location of the arms makes sense. So you actually draw things you don't even see sometimes, just to make sure it's right. Drawing the fist, start with very simple boxes. On top of the fist there, and there's the inside of the armor, and then probably do some cross-hatching here, separating that in 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Make sure she's got all her fingers and thumbs. A bunch of circles, and then just kind of matching them up to the bottom of the forearm. Black Widow stingers right there on her forearms. I really like to kind of make sure the arms are the right proportions. As you make a line, and then you make that same line the same length bit. And that's kind of how you make sure that the arms are looking proportional. Having kind of simple lines that have a little arc to it helps the character feel like it's moving and it's got a lot of power and energy to it. So like on the bicep there, I'm going to add a little curve to it. She's in middle of defending the Earth and helping her Avenger friends. Iron Man designed these really cool Mech Strike armor suits so Black Widow and the Avengers could take on a larger-than-life threat to Earth. And once you get the drawing in a really good place, you feel like all your arms and legs and the torso kind of looks how you want it to, then you can start going through and adding more detail and then start darkening your lines and really committing to the basic shapes. I'm using kind of a lighter pencil right now, so what I'll probably do actually, I'll switch to a different pencil that has a little darker lead on it. So this has a 2H lead, and the drawing is really going to start taking shape. Really go nuts and draw so many details, and I start kind of erasing some of the lighter lines so you can kind of tell what is the right line, because I've probably drawn 6 or 7 lines for some of these different shapes. You can start adding some cross-hatching to areas to add that depth that we talked about before. Cool little details there underneath her neck. Have the piece of the jaw come up. Probably clean some of that up a little bit. It's hard to see some of those details, so what those areas of the armor start looking like. Go through and add some more cross-hatching here to make that part of the top of the arm separate from the shoulder. Have that come up. You really start just kind of erasing some of those lighter lines you made earlier. That's starting to look better. This character has, symmetrical pieces to it. Her armor kind of matches on both sides. So if you do one arm, go right to the other arm, though you don't forget. You're having so much fun. I love drawing these characters. You kind of get lost in time. You're just drawing all these little piece of the armor. There are these really cool pipes there. You know, I don't know, maybe there's some energy that's coming through there and we need some extra power. So let's draw these little conduit pipes so it can pump in extra energy to our arms. You know, make sure that the legs are matching up to how I just make the drawing. Make sure it doesn't feel like the character's just standing still. Like even though the character is standing still in the drawing, it makes it feel like she's, you know, really like ready for action. Drawing a really curved arced line there helps that. It's great to have like a straight line from one heel to the other to again make sure that character's, you know, looks like they're standing on solid ground. At least in a pose like this where you're having the character stand. Keep adding more and more details, and that's probably my favorite part, is just add as much detail as possible. And again, just make sure you kind of take a step back and look at the whole drawing and be like, okay, it's kind of looking, the proportions look good. I drew her back leg a little too short, so even though I started darkening those lines, I'm gonna erase a little bit. A little too short. That's okay. You know, making mistakes is part of the process, and it's how you learn and get better. And you find new details every time you make mistakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. You can just go back and try again, and you know what, you're better, and next time it looks even better. All right, maybe her toes needs to be a little long. Toe needs to be a little longer right there. Have that piece of the armor come up like that. Oh yeah, just added that detail there, so we'll add it to the other leg. All right, so that's starting to look pretty good. So what I'll start doing is I'm just gonna start erasing some of those first lines I made on the drawing, because I don't need them anymore. So that way it's a little cleaner and you can kind of see the character a little better. So she'll start coming really in focus here the more you erase. And actually erasing, it's like almost you're discovering parts of the drawing you didn't know that you had before, or you had. So it's a really fun thing, is you go through and you start erasing all those lines. You're like, oh wow, that's how that looks. Oh okay, cool, really fun, really interesting. So just go through and I'm just kind of cleaning up some of these areas. You're drawing with the erasers. Interesting way to think about it. You're not erasing, you're drawing with it. And then I had these little pipes that carry energy, and then what you can do to kind of separate them is darkening the lines between them. So it looks like there's, you know, really two distinct pipes back there. And then it's very important to, on the middle of the character here in this utility belt, really darkening in that back line there, so it separates from the stomach area. Going through, and it's kind of almost a hybrid of cross hatching and making those lines. So you'll see a lot of little cross hatches and just darkening that line. So I'm just going through on the parts of the drawing and going over a couple of these lines. They really easy to see. Make this leg really have some shape to it. You can actually draw a line and then cross hatch on the lower part of on the inside of the leg. It really gives it that rounded look. So you just keep moving around the drawing and adding details and going through. You can always go back. You don't have to get it all at once. I'm going to darken in that cross hatching. Separation from the fist and the arm. You can really see it now. Don't be afraid to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. This area of the arm is really back. I want to make sure that it looks behind it. And I'm going to really darken that in, because you're not really going to see that, because it's a lot of shadow going on there. I think that looks pretty good. I think the proportions look good. And that's Black Widow in her mech suit. Now let's ink and color this drawing. Alright, I think Black Widow looks pretty killer in this new mech suit. I'm Isabella, and I'll see you next time on Marvel's How to Draw.